All right. Welcome back to Deep Look into the Paranormal and Unknown with Jennifer and David, the Wills. Say hi.
Hello.
You can see everything, correct?
Yes, I can.
All right. Today on this episode, we are actually looking at the lesser known cryptids um, basically around the world. There are a few, we're going to touch base on some of them um, at later times as well. But this time we've got, I think, three, four, three or four of them set up for you today. So let's dive right into this. Um, what do you think that this kind of creature would be named?
Batra.
Batra.
After the kaiju of a very large bat.
It is rather kaiju-ish. Actually, this one is known as the Ahool or the
Oh, that's a
Atoll.
Ahool?
Yes.
I thought the Ahool was a monkey creature.
Look at the face.
Oh, yep, baboon face.
Yep.
I didn't realize it had giant bat wings like that. Okay.
Yes. It lives in the deep jungles of Java in Indonesia. That is where it is known and located. A lot of the locals um, think that it protects the forest and is a guardian of the forest, where others are actually kind of terrified of it. So it has pros and cons, or favoritism and infamy, if you will, surrounding it. The characteristics are believed to be bat-like creature, or huge bat-like creature that can grow up to 10 feet in height and stand with a wingspan of 20 feet wide, also known for a loud shriek when descending upon its prey.
Okie dokie.
Mm-hmm. Would you wanna be victim of that? Something like that? That's
I'll,
scary.
I'll opt for a no. No, no.
No. I don't mind watching it or seeing it and waving to it and saying hi, bye. But it is a monkey ape like head with large dark eyes. Sometimes they glow red. Large claws on its forearms, approximately the size of an infant, supposedly, covered in gray fur. Um, it likes to eat local fauna, large fish, and occasionally it has been known to attack humans that get too close. So maybe
So you say I stay on my side, it stays on its side.
kind of, it's like it's almost guarding something, you know?
Kaiju.
Uh, kaiju. Um, in all seriousness, though, it is it's not very. It hasn't been seen often or a lot, so it may be like a very few, like almost endangered or extinct species near that area because the people don't in that area don't really go into the woods out of respect. It was first seen in 1925 by a naturalist, Dr. Ernest Bartels. It was at he went out investigating, looking, being what a normal scientist or, um,
Explorer.
yeah, you could say explorer, would do, and to see if he could find or locate new things, new creatures, just to document. It was last seen by the same man, so I don't know if it's real or not. This one's kind of iffy, but it was seen on in 1927 at 11:30 p.m. by Dr. Bartels before being seen again in the 1970s and 1980s. So I guess it was seen a bit.
Wait, 1980s.
Yeah, 1970s and 1980s is when it
Yeah.
was last seen.
Oh crap! I realized that's like 40 years ago.
Dude, tell our age, why don't you?
I wasn't trying to. Just
But am I coming in loud and clear?
you're coming in loud and clear.
Awesome. Um, the locals believe it's just another type of large bat species that's kind of gone unrecognized as well. It's just like a natural occurrence for them or a natural creature that they just don't mess with. It is believed to be very nocturnal, so it's only seen at night. Locals used to fear and this um, basically they used to fear it to the point where I kind of find that this is a lesson learned type of situation, but kind of cruel. It's kind of like their version of boogeyman. Um, the locals use it to the Ahool's description to basically remind children of the dangers of entering the jungle alone or even at all. Kind of like if you don't eat your vegetables, the Ahool will get you.
That sounds about right.
Um, it is. Oh, I almost dropped my sandwich. Um, some scientists believe that the Ahool is a misidentified known animal, but to know real to know real proof of what it truly looks like or has been reported as. However, still the Ahool fascinates many, and they still will go out and trying to look for it. I'm like, the creature is obviously hiding for a reason. Leave it the hell alone. That's my opinion. Um, the who has actually sparked festivals within the locals to in respect for the wilderness guardian. So they even have festivals, kind of like the Mothman and several other people. Cryptids have festivals around them. He's developed a bit of fan base.
Ahool Fest. Ahool Con. It honestly sounds like an energy company at that point when you go Ahool Con.
Yeah, but they don't. It's just a festival of the wilderness guardian. Um,
You know, if it
but
was a
does
company, go ahead. Sorry.
no? Go ahead. Go ahead.
If it was a company based on harvesting wind energy, a whole con would make a probably a pretty penny.
Yeah, but it kind of reminds me of the monkeys of Wizard of Oz. To be honest, just
Oh
about
yeah, a little
close.
flying monkey. Yeah, definitely flying monkey vibes.
But knowing all of this on the Yahoo, what do you believe about it? Let's discuss this a little bit.
Okay, I believe the size measurements are off
Yes.
because a 20-foot wingspan with a 10-foot height would not translate to an actual creature that could fly. They would need to have a 30 to 50-foot wingspan.
In this case, they might find a higher perch and just glide.
True.
But you are right. What a lot of people believe is that it's a mixture of the giant fruit bat.
Oh, also known as the giant fox bat.
Yes, he's got his mouth full of
They're
banana.
adorable. Yeah.
And the hammerhead bat.
What the? Okay, I didn't know those exist. It's got like a horse face. Okay.
Yes, but it's called the hammerhead bat.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I saw this flying at me in the middle of the night, I
Or a mixture of the two.
yeah, I know. I definitely. It could follow the brown streak behind me. I'd be running that
You
fast.
need to change the pants. Honestly, I think the some of the people are right that it is a misidentified creature, um, but that it's got a very low populace or population.
Hmm.
So I honestly think it is not necessarily a cryptid of sorts, but an actual creature.
I'll also be honest. If this thing came flying at me in the middle of the night,
Mm-hmm.
I would not be taking the time to measure it and ask it any details. I would just be running.
I think a lot
So
of yeah,
mm,
I think a lot of it has to do with fear, and fear can play tricks on the mind and make you think things that aren't there or exaggerate things that are there.
Yeah, like when you get that fight with 20 guys when it's just you falling down a two-step ladder.
Yeah, you could say that. That's for sure. Um, so do you believe
Was
this?
Ernest known for drinking?
Do you believe that this is a actual cryptid or creature, or do
I
you think
think
it
this is
doesn't exist at all?
well, this picture of this thing definitely exists, but I
Yes, this does
I,
exist. So does
I
this
think
one.
it's I think it's a misidentification.
Yeah, I think it is a misidentification on that one. But this is a human stance, okay? A human man. Here
Mm-hmm.
is basically your flying fox that you said,
Mm-hmm.
the fruit bat. And this is what the Ahool is supposed to look like in comparison. Right that
Yeah,
second.
because it's flying, it's coming at you quickly. You're not going to take the time, like, well, if I use my thumb and my forefinger to measure the distance between, I can get the accurate. No.
Yeah, no. You're not going to take the time to sit here and look at it. And bats do make some weird screeches. And if you're in a right spot where acoustics carries and magnifies
Mm-hmm.
it, it can make it sound like a terrible, horrific screech.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. But moving on, we are going on to the Poplick Monster.
What state is Publican? Is it West Virginia?
No. Poplick is
Okay.
actually in Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Yes, near Louisville. But the reason why I'm showing you this picture is for a few reasons. Though that is the trussels, the Poplick trussels. That is where a lot of the lore comes from, is from those trussels right there. Okay?
Okay.
And a lot of it has to do off of hearsay. Um, there was a movie built around these trussels that really aggravated, um, the locals, especially the authorities. So let me explain this. Um,
Yeah, I want to hear this. This is.
yes, Poplick Monster um, lives in and around the railroad tunnel in Poplick Park of Louisville, Kentucky area, but is usually seen haunting the railroad trestle over Poplick Creek, which is just down over here. These are the roads and pathways. Well, I'll explain that here in a second. It is
Mhm.
believed to be or have the appearance of a hairy goat man appearance, as well as
Oh, it's a
part
goat man.
sheep.
Okay.
Yep,
I'm
believed to be unsettling to look at. There are many different variations of goat man out there. That each, maybe each state has a specific one that's part of that. But this is not known as goat man, but the Poplick monster.
sorry. Okay.
It is rumored. It was rumored to be 1988 and used as a spawn of a movie that upset a lot of people, forcing the police to put up trespassing notices on the trussels themselves. Thought it to be hearsay when it came when it was really seen for the first time. Um, it is believed to have the ability to cause hypnosis to its victims and lure it onto the track just as the train goes by, killing them.
Okay.
Yes, that is a main line that is still active to this day. That trains go over. Um, it uses voice mimicry also to attract trespassers to on the trestles to meet their fate via coming trains. And here's why the streets are important. It is also believed to jump down from the trestles onto the roofs of passing cars, thereby causing accidents and terrifying people to no end. Um, the thing about these trestles is between the lowest point of the ground and the trestles themselves, the bottom part of the trestles itself is 80 feet.
That's definitely a jump.
Mm-hmm. Um, Locals believe it is a reincarnation of a farmer whom sacrificed goats to rather offer them up as offerings to receive satanic powers.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not good. This is a look from being directly below the trestles itself.
Oh yeah, I couldn't do that. I no.
No, no. All right. There are several known individuals that believe to have been victim to the Poplick monster and its inhuman abilities. The first one being Jack, JC for short, as a nickname, Charles Baum II, at the age of 17, hopped the fence and had been erected to keep people away from the area and had supposedly lured into the tracks of the trestles and was struck by a train and died. Um,
So he was 80 feet up.
yeah, he was 17 and he climbed up there and got up there.
Did he climb the trestles or did he come in from a side?
He would had to have found some way around the erected barrier around the trestles to get up there. Um, in 1994, a man was believed to have been killed by the Poplick monster when the entity flipped the man's ATV over, pinning him to the trestles before it was struck down by a train.
What, an ATV 80 feet up?
Mm-hmm. He more than likely got onto the railway further down where there was no barrier and took it that way.
Okay, that makes more sense to me in my brain than someone flipping an ATV 80 feet up in the air.
No,
Uh,
he just flipped it and pinning the the ATV was on top of the rider, pinning him to the trestles, the tracks themselves, before he was struck.
okay.
And this was the monster right here that they used in the movie. I'm assuming in the movie to make it look horrifying, but that's not what it really looks like. In 2000, a 19-year-old man fell to his death before being struck just as he was struck by a train upon the trestles. So he also was killed. April 23rd, 2016, Rebecca Bain, I'm thinking. This is her right here. This is actually the crime scene of where they found her body. Um, she's,
Huh.
yeah, she had been struck by a train while looking for the monster. Her boyfriend barely survived hanging from the side of the trestles. He actually watched her plummet to her death.
So they climbed up there on their own to.
Yeah, they went past the barrier,
Oh, that's.
and she was hit by a train, looking for the
I
monster.
don't want to speak ill of the dead, but that seems like it was bad decision making.
A lot of these are bad decision making. When you see no trusting, no trusting trespassing signs, and you see gates up there, you don't go past that. You're only asking for trouble. May 26, 2019, um, Savannah Bright, she was 15 years old and was pronounced dead at the scene when with another teen, her friend Keely, Keeling, were also victims of the Poplick monster. Savannah unfortunately was struck and killed. Somehow, Kaylee managed to survive from the fall. Um, she was taken
This
to the
person is accredited to. Oh, sorry, I'm
Go,
interrupting. I'll ask after you're done. I
no,
want
go ahead.
because this.
Go ahead.
Do we know the full body count, or are you going to get to that
It's actually
of
unknown.
people? Well, the number of accredited ones.
I'm reading some of the accredited ones. There's many, 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 many. If anything,
This is
definitely
Kentucky.
look up the Pokewood Lake Monster, and you will see different websites talking all about it. Um, on May 26, 2019, Savannah Bright was 15, pronounced dead at the scene. Like I said, Um, Kaylee was made it before, or made it to be taken to the university before she passed. Kaylee was Kaylee's parents actually sued the railroad company for their the tragedies. I personally don't think that honestly they should have done that because or had victory over it or anything because there were barriers put up. They neglected to adhere to that. Not just that, but you were their parent. Why weren't you aware of where they were going or where they were at? So it really falls back on them, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, no,
I mean, it is sad that she passed, but it was a dumb mistake on their part. They went through the barrier, and they're the ones who basically paid for their own decision.
I just need to remember how stupid we were in the 80s and 90s as
Stupid.
teenagers.
Keyword
Yeah,
stupid. We were stupid.
and no real internet to keep us busy otherwise.
No, we were often venturing off as long as we were back home by the time the streetlights came on.
Here's a metric I don't think anyone's ever looked into.
What's that?
How many lives has gaming and their internet saved because teenagers didn't go out and do stupid shit?
You have a point, but then they became the. I'll keep those comments to myself on that. um, there are rumors, some rumors surrounding the death, as well as some memorials. I figured we could discuss that a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
on December 13th, 1988, the Louisville Courier Journal documented about Jack, also known as J.C. Charles Baum II. He was 17.
Hmm.
His death had the papers calling in that particular track the Trestles of Death, along with the death of David Wayne Bryant, whom, when being forced to jump to his death in an attempt to avoid the oncoming train. David was 19 years old in May of 1987. He survived, but died from his injuries in 1986. Yeah, wait a minute. David was.
Yeah.
No, I'm taking that back. He was. It was May of '96, and he died from in '87. So that was my bad. I'm sorry, and I apologize about that. Apparently, family and friends have spray painted on the side of the trestles. JC, we love and miss you. Just look so you can see how big these trains are. You're not gonna be able to stop on a dime.
Oh, can you zoom in on that? It's kind
Which
of small on my end. Both of them are a little bit on the small side, but thank you.
That's okay.
Because I wanted to see if there was a walking path up there, but there is no. There's no reason
No,
for people to be up there.
there's no walking path whatsoever. You're walking on the planks.
Oh, that's so. And you can easily see where an ATV would hit a plank wrong, flip.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking caused it to flip. But if you look at this one, you can see how close they are together. It may not have, but at the same time, it could have. So I'm not sure if he actually died to the public monster or his own foolishness. You know? But see,
This was the he died. Did he die in the 80s or the 90s?
the one that flipped over.
Yeah.
1 second. 1994.
Trying to think if the helmet laws were in effect back then or the safety for ATVs.
But you can
There was.
see there is a fence, a barrier.
Mhm.
Did anyone listen? No. Here's another shot of a barrier. And yet another one. They even put barbed wire. and people still went over and tried to get up there. But here's the memorial to JC. Um, Roquel Bain, the 26-year-old, when she was knocked 80 feet below while her boyfriend dangled from the side until fire and rescue saved him. She was pronounced dead at the scene at 7:39 p.m. near the 3100 block of South Pick or Pick. What is it? I'm trying to read my own writing. South Road, basically near Taylorsville Road and the Pope Lick Road area. They were tourists trying to catch sight of the Pope Lick monster. They were mentally sound. No drugs, no alcohol were found in their system. To this day, her ex-boyfriend doesn't believe that it was the Pope Lick monster, but just the train.
Okay, is her boyfriend a bodybuilder or something, or an athlete of any sort?
Not that I'm aware of, but remember about this creature, this cryptid in particular. It uses voice mimicry. Can use hypnosis. Maybe it didn't target him, it targeted just her.
I'm just trying to think of hanging off a side of anything
Yes,
and how slow some trains move.
yes.
I know I hanging off the side of anything is not going to be something I can do. I know that, but
Especially not, let's go back a second. Let's go back to this. You're going to be hanging off somewhere here.
yeah, it's not like you're climbing down and you got a place to sit among the crevice, the trellis. That word.
Or to anchor down, so he was having to hang on for dear freaking life.
That can't be easy.
And no, there's no way, but he believes that it was the train that killed her. Um, but then again, she could have been targeted where he was not.
Yeah,
So he may believe one way, but the only one who could ever truly tell us what happened is now gone. Many rumors surrounded the area and the cryptid itself, but with similarities, it is hard to say without a doubt what truly is can what truly is responsible for these occurrences. And with the two alone, I delved further into outside of the others, basically, to some of the other people, and I can see similarities in them all. Thrill-seeking adventurers doing something they shouldn't, that and or reach hard mental mental issues. So deep depression, deep
hmm
dark intrusive thoughts. Maybe that's why they wanted to, or that's why they ended their lives or unalived themselves. Not saying that they did. I'm just saying that is a possibility. Again, no one could really tell us until we can actually speak with a survivor who's actually seen it. You know, there's only hearsay on what it looks like. Um, Also, the excitement and appeal drove them there. If there is indeed
it's like
some,
all the people. Yeah, it's like all the people who ran outside looking for the Blair Witch.
mm-hmm. Here's a little memorial for Savannah, the 15-year-old that died by the Trussels. Um, it doesn't venture far from the area at all by the all the accounts that have been noted and recorded. So it sounds like it's defending its territory from invaders. Like it's like, no, back up, leave me alone, mine.
Are we going to be talking a lot about other goat men, so I can just point out some similarities between the other goat men that have been reported?
Eventually, we will. Yes.
Okay.
Um, that also there's the rumor that the set of tracks where all this takes place is still in use, which we did go over that. It is the main line into the Louisville. Trains go through that area of the trestles several times a day. It is not abandoned, but totally the opposite. What do you think about that?
I can understand someone looking at these and thinking, well, that can't be in use, but no,
But it is.
it's not all painted up and looks pretty. It's
Yeah, that's just a cosmetic. They
yeah.
maintain those trestles. That is the main
Hmm.
line into Louisville. So honestly, I think some of this is mixed, like a mixed, what should I say, um, a mixture of a possible supernatural occurrence, like something's drawing the stuff that people there, or they're, and the one where they jump onto the cars below, where it's supposed to jump on the cars below, attacking them. They could have been drunk teenagers or something,
I,
and
I agree.
crashing into the guardrails or something and startling themselves.
Because if you go back to that one picture
Which one?
of the road right next to it, that one when you scroll in, is that a picnic area?
I think so.
So yeah, I would totally see kids coming here using the walk path, getting plastered because they're kids. A car going out and someone trying to parkour their ass over on top of the car.
Yeah, to startle the you know.
It's like,
So it's a definite possibility, but that just that it's a common occurrence in that specific area. It could be there could be something supernatural about it.
oh, absolutely. Um, though Goatman and bridges. I mean,
It is,
all the various Goatmen that I know of have a bridge associated with them.
yes,
I wonder if it'd be more accurate that they're not Goatmen, but maybe a troll looks like a goat,
like a real life troll.
like a real life troll would look kind of goatish.
Maybe.
Maybe that's why it talked to Billy Goat Gruff. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny with this. I'm actually thinking logically in assuming that every myth and legend has a grain of truth somewhere.
Yeah, it does. Every story out there, every legend, myth, what have you, is sparked by a grain of truth.
Trolls are notoriously protective of their area. Trolls are always known for hanging out underneath bridges,
Yeah.
except for the Norwegian trolls. We know that those are different type of trolls.
Serious now.
Um, what if there is a type of troll or creature that is exceptionally good at camouflaging, but when it's startled or when it's provoked, has a very goat-like appearance when it chases after things?
But also to have the humanish form too.
Well, when they say humanish form, I think there's a YouTube video. I just going to try a picture of it, or maybe I can get a picture of it.
It's okay. I'm just explaining. He has a
Hmm.
goat sheep-like features with a human form. So we unfortunately do need to continue on.
There it is. I'm trying to see if I can share this to you real quick. I do
I wouldn't be
apologize.
able to share it with the podcast because of the images.
Could I share my screen real quick?
With how things are set up, it cannot, unfortunately, cannot be done. If you
Okay,
want to add a link to it when we post it up on our YouTube and our Facebook page, by all means.
I will do that.
Okay? All right. Next on our list is the Cumberland Beast. Cumberland looks like Okie Kai creature and also known as the Hillbilly Beast.
The Hillbilly Beast.
Yes. Around the lakes of the Cumberland, which span over 50,250 acre reservoir in southern Kentucky. It's also known as the land between the lakes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is also that area is also known to have the world's largest or longest shoreline by length. By going around it, the place is massive, utterly massive. It is known for smallmouth bass, largemouth bass, striper, and walleye fish. The origin of the Cumberland Beast is believed to be from a telling about the Englishman that left home in the 1800s and had a strange disease that made him go mad at nightfall, then return to normal by day. That was
Lunacy?
hmm.
Is it lunacy?
I don't know. They never described
Oh, okay.
what disease, but he was perfectly fine during the day. But however, the more notable telling of the Cumberland Beast is there's a legend from the Shawnee tribes of the area of a creature that would shapeshift. They would warn traders
Ooh.
coming into the area of the creature that eventually was called the Loop Guru.
Oh, okay. Now I know it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It was
Yep.
later discovered that it was actually the spirit of a shapeshifter or shapeshifting shaman that was eventually killed by his tribesmen for abuse of power and the cause of many deaths.
Okay.
So you see how
So it
that
was.
one's more notable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's sort of like an offshoot of the skinwalker slash werewolf type stories.
Yes, exactly. A lot of stories were based
Okay.
off that. Um, the first noted account of a sighting was in 1973 when a group of young men went camping in the area. One of the men wandered off to relieve himself. You know how Mother
As
Nature can
men will
call.
do. Yeah.
He heard something in the woods. When he went back to back to camp to tell his companions about it, they laughed it off until later that night, when they started hearing a loud wolf howl. Before catching a brief glimpse of it by firelight, um, passing by with them or with red eyes, they quickly had packed up and left. I think the red eye situation, honestly, was the flame light from their campfire. You know,
Mm-hmm.
bouncing off reflection off of the eyes, causing them to look red.
Okay. My brain just drew a blank. Where is this located? Is this Maryland or where is this located?
Kentucky,
Kentucky.
yes,
Hmm.
in the land between the lakes.
I have a theory in my head, but
What?
we're gonna
No, if you wanted to talk about it.
uh people out in the backwoods that don't want other people around
Mm-hmm.
because they might be doing something they're not supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I wonder if they just may have set up a little bit too close to someone still, and they're just scaring them off.
That could be true. Like they're putting on a costume.
He's like, yeah, no one's gonna come around here looking at what I'm doing if you just see, "Arrrr," and
It
then
could
all
be.
that. Oh,
I can understand that. Um,
all right. For those listeners who don't know, I was born and raised in the Appalachian Mountains, so I take a little offense to rednecks sometimes because there's two types of rednecks. Oh,
explain.
there's more than that, but there's the kind that are genuine pieces of crap. Will not deny that there are ones that are just backwater people that, for lack of better terms, need to grow up and need to learn some actual living.
Okay.
And then you get the redneck who's like, I've been living out here for 20 years. I don't got the time to be going into no town and figure out how to make this thing work again. So
So,
I'm not going to be planning on anything, but I'm going to fix it myself.
so the ones who kind of live off the land are off grid.
Yeah.
Okay, understandable. Um, but yeah, there's that picture. There's also
Okay. Yeah, you got to blow that one up for me. Okay. See,
there.
I can't tell if that's a critter or.
I know because being blown up, you can't really see it that well, but it's actually there. There's the eyes. There's the nose. My hand's shaky, so I do apologize. There's even a hand right here.
Yeah, I see the hand. I definitely see the hand.
Hmm.
It's just, to me, it kind of looks like a guy squatting down to take a shit in the woods.
Okay. Um, but what do you think of this? Do you feel it is a real critter or a real cryptid?
Oh, this is gonna sound weird because I've just been giving plausible excuses for everything else, but I 100% think that there are wild men in the forest that have either gone mad, have never interacted with other people,
Mm-hmm.
who have um, done things they probably shouldn't do, maybe hiding out there and making sure no one comes around by scaring anyone who comes a little bit too close. Um,
I can see that.
coming coming from the Appalachia, yeah, you can get lost up there if you want to.
Yeah,
If you're looking for a place to hide and you know how to handle yourself in the forest, you could be in a forest for decades and have no need to come out of it. There is so much wildlife, food, natural places that you can,
you're
well,
right.
not necessarily hide, but have a shelter.
Yeah,
Um,
especially being if it's in the mountainous terrain area.
there are caves everywhere there that you can just easily use some logs and build a little oh, I gotta watch out how I say this word, facade
Ficus
for it.
or facade.
Facade. Yeah,
Okay,
a front wall.
so like a trick or illusionary.
Yeah,
Okay. I,
and
go ahead.
the number of people who are out in those woods with you at any given time, I assure you, is larger than you think it is. And sometimes it's just some good old boys trying to play a prank on people by having a snipe hunt, trying to scare some kids. Um, but do I believe that there is something or someone out there who looks like a big hairy mess and will scare the crap out of people who get too close to where it lives? Yes. Do I think it's supernatural? No.
So you think it's more of a costume?
I think it's a living, breathing thing. Either it's a person or it's. I know we've all heard weird stories about this, but the escaped animals from the circus, the things
There
of
have
that
been
nature.
plenty of times where that's happened,
Yes, there has.
especially recently here in Texas alone. There have been tigers.
I forgot all about that. You are correct. But more than likely, this is someone either using local lore or a costume or just That's what they wear. Because if you're up in this is the other thing, if you're up in those woods in the winter or just when it's cold
Mm-hmm.
and you're living off the land, you will be covered head to foot in furs to stay
Yes,
warm.
you will find any means to stay warm.
Yeah, you're not wearing a puffy jacket from the Gap.
Yeah,
You're wearing a
you're basically wearing
buck
um,
hide, and if you're really good, a bear skin.
a
And if it
gator.
was a person wearing a bear skin walking around, yeah, no, that scared the crap out of me too. I'm not gonna argue with that.
Another thing I think that it could be, honestly, is there are wolves around,
Hmm.
but there are also dire wolves, which are larger wolves. They've actually been seen and been proven. Not the ones you
Yeah.
get out of D&D or anything like that. These are actually large wolves. They are
Well,
larger
no,
than the
that and
average
there's
wolf.
there's so many bears there too.
That is true. That is true.
Having seen a bear firsthand and close ups, honey, when it's standing
Yeah,
upright, does it look peopleish?
it can. I can say that it can. It terrified the heck out of me. I screamed at it, ran inside the house, it ran off. And mind you, I was about 3 to 4 feet high on the porch when it reared up to look at me face to face. The only thing separating us was the guardrail to the porch.
Yeah,
Um,
and I could also very well see a bear coming around someone's camp because they left something out they shouldn't have, sniffing around looking for food.
yes,
And I'm fairly certain, not 100%, but fairly certain, bears' eyes are reflective in firelight.
yes. So are wolves. So are really anything if you think about it.
Yeah.
Um, but as we move along, um, I do have an eyewitness account. They were located in the area where you see right now in the picture.
Hmm.
That's still part of the Land Between the Lakes area, the Cumberland area. Um, let's see here. It was originally the eyewitness was supposed to be taking a kind of retreat for herself, to relax, to just decompress, and allow her some space to think, just to,
Hmm.
wind down from the day to day life. She ended up taking someone with her because she had never been alone, which I
It's not a
honestly
bad
am.
idea.
I honestly am glad she did because it's honestly not safe to be alone. Anywhere.
Is is this part of the Appalachian Trail that this happened?
I do not know. I'd have to look further into it,
Okay, I was just curious.
but I do know that it is still in Kentucky. Here's
Hmm.
part of this is part of the Airbnb that they were at, but here's another shot of the area where they saw it. Um,
That's not updating for me. That's weird.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You might need to log out and log back in or refresh your own page. Um, but she says this is how she described it. The odd thing is, when I thought I had seen something like this, it wasn't looking anything like others have. I'm sorry, I do apologize. I'm reading this too fast. The odd thing is, when I thought I'd seen something like this, it wouldn't look anything like others have described. Mainly because I always thought that things like this existed, but never saw anything besides supernatural spirits. It was very tall, I'd say about 7 feet, if not taller, and go from standing to being on its hands and feet extremely fast. It jumped high enough to bend the top of a pine tree taller than 7 feet. I could tell it was fur like on its skin, which was white, but now had a fully gray like tint to it. The fur was short in some places, for the most part, except some places where it was a bit thicker. It had no traces of clothing on it at all. I'm gonna stop there because a lot of a lot of people will say no, it doesn't look like that. Like the colors, what the eyewitness said, the colors were off. They, but think about it. What if the creature is aged, and that's why it's got some white, some silver or gray?
Mm-hmm.
A cryptid is not going to sit here and stay young forever,
Not unless oh,
huh?
maybe the story of the phoenix, but that
Well, that's
no, yeah,
that's a mythical creature.
true. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah. So I just wanted to put that out there. Um, I asked when you happened upon the cryptid, how did it react to you? We heard sounds as the branches and leaves were being stepped on. I thought um, her partner did as well, that it was a deer, maybe because of the sounds. Like it was just, just like slowly walking through fall like leaves, which was around, I'll tell you now, it's around November 18th through the 20th that these appearances happened for her. Um, it seemed to have jumped enough to make it look like it flew overhead to bend the treetops. Last of last sight of it was the second witness noticed what I thought was a bush. Had not noticed it before until it started moving a bit while standing in a crouched position.
okay. Hey, stream started working for me again.
Um, at the time of the encounter, the witness believed she was looking at a werewolf.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, I asked, "Did you flee? And if so, how did you manage to escape it, or did it not give chase?" Apparently, it didn't give chase, but seemed to move more on. Seemed to be more on guard, like it was protecting something. Um, Now thinking back, we did not flee at first because we were trying to figure out just what we were seeing. It took a minute before, with how fast it was moving, how big it was, and seeing it. So its sheer movement and size, when it moved, startled them, and that's when they actually headed back. Um, they didn't go back outside at night because it seemed more evening eveningish time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
to take like a smoke break or because it was prohibited inside the Airbnb, so you can't. And I understand that and I respect that.
I don't know. Going 2 days without smoking or getting eaten by a werewolf.
Well, you could step outside in the morning or during the day.
Yeah, during the day, if you can't go one night without a cigarette, I
There
think your
are
priorities
vapes.
might be a little. I know, I understand. My mom was a 3 pack a day smoker for a while.
You know,
I understand, but still at the same time, it's like werewolf
or
cigarette.
I can see what you're saying there. I definitely can see that. When they saw it again, it was a little ways down from the Airbnb. It was just standing there in a huge front yard. Headlights. Um, Someone was driving down the road, and headlights went over it on a curve in the road. And next time that the lights flashed over it, it was gone. It was like a blink of an eye type situation. But when they returned to the Airbnb, it was there watching and waiting for them. But it was standing off at a distance.
Okay.
Yeah. So it seems to be a curious creature. Maybe it's guarding. Maybe as making sure that they weren't going to try something. It was protective of its land, much like the other cryptids we discussed.
Hmm. Everything that was just described sounds like a bear.
But it had a wolfish appearance.
Where were these people from originally?
They're from Kentucky as well.
Okay, I didn't want to be mean and say New York City, and
No,
like you wouldn't know the difference between a wolf and a bear
no.
if they walked up to you. Okay,
I know. I know these people very well, and they know the difference between a wolf and a bear.
okay, because everything sounds like a bear.
Or it could be go back to what you had said about a madman wearing a costume trying to scare them off,
Very true.
and didn't
That
want to
can also
get
be it,
too close. You know, to show that it was actually a false facade.
or it could be both.
Yeah.
I mean I've seen bears jump trees and pull them down to try and get a squirrel or something that's up in the tree to eat.
Yes, I've seen that.
I've seen bears also just stare at a car for a few seconds, go to all fours, and run off very quickly before you even think of it.
Yeah. So
I've also
it,
seen bears get hit by cars and just stand back up and go, "What?"
and they get mad. And bears are actually very intelligent creatures that people get don't give them credit for. They know how to open car doors. They know how to open, good lord, what are those called? Coolers.
Jar.
And
They
just
they also know how to open up steel drums.
yes.
Though
Nope. Go ahead.
there is one definite way to tell if a bear has been eating in the area for any period of time.
How's that?
Uh, Bears biology,
Mm-hmm.
if they're eating something for any length of time, they're going potty at the same time.
So fecal matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
The question is, does a bear poop in the woods? Yes. The bear poops in the woods, the alley, the walk to the alley. They poop at the car. They poop in the car.
Honestly,
Poop
it's the same for
everywhere.
any animal in existence. Human
Mm-hmm.
beings,
Ooh, cats. Cats.
cats as
Cats
well,
tend to hide their. Well, they also tend to hide a little bit more. Their
but then
scat.
also wolves do the same thing.
Yeah. But bears actually are very much like mice that way. They're just constantly going.
Yeah. But so do you think this is real or do you think it's a misunderstanding?
I think it's a misunderstanding. Um,
I'm
similar
talking
to,
about the I'm talking about the cryptid as a whole.
I think it's a mix of local legend coming.
Misidentification?
Yeah, if you get one thing in your head, suddenly the thing that you can't identify becomes that.
Yeah.
And if it's too close to a wild man and or a bear, that any odd sighting of a bear or a wild man could fall into the same category.
I have to agree to a point, but until someone can get actual proof, it's gonna still remain a mystery.
Oh yeah, no, I agree completely. And I do not. I know a lot of people who do go out and look for Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
I wish them the best in finding evidence.
But please don't be stupid and go alone.
Exactly. If you're going to do something like that, please do it safely.
And make
Please
sure,
do it
yeah,
sober.
and make sure that someone that's not going knows where you are.
And when you're planning on returning.
Exactly. All right, that is it for this week's version of a Deep Look into the Paranormal and Unknown. Next week, we will be discussing paranormal equipment and actual paranormal investigations. We aren't going to go over specific investigations. We're just going to go about how it's done, how some of these equipment works. So hopefully you'll tune in, and we'll see you next time. Please, if you're seeing this, hit the like button if you liked it, dislike if you dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and comment below. Tell us what you thought about it, what you think about it, your honest opinions, your any interaction. Honestly, helps us know what you like and don't like.
And I'll be sharing two videos. One of a goat walking upright, which is terrifying to watch,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and one of a jumping bear, just so you can get an idea of what kind of jumps they can do.
And I'll
This
find
is not,
yeah, and I'll find the video where it shows the dire wolf as a real thing and how
but
well they can hide.
everyone, please be safe.
Mm-hmm.
We try and give some good survival advice for if you're doing things out here. Um, be safe.
And if you,
If you're going investigating anything,
mm-hmm.
paranormal, cryptid, crime, if for some reason you're investigating crimes, don't go alone.
And if you see
Make
a
sure,
fence or security or what have you saying don't go beyond this point, don't go beyond this point because
yeah,
something
respect
bad,
that.
yeah, something bad could happen.
Uh, but just stay safe, respect the law, and have yourselves a wonderful week.
Take care. Bye bye.